Denac, and this is Kolar Bačnik. We're from Gimnazia Vic, from Ljubljana, Slovenia, and we are young researchers who prepared a project in chemistry in collaboration with our national library, Pulp and Paper Institute, and of course CERIC.
This project focuses on a pigment that was used all the way to the 19th century as the only green color our ancestors knew. So it can be found on many important maps, paintings and documents that we now treat as cultural heritage. But there is a problem, because this pigment degrades the paper that it's applied to, and as well as changes its color from green to brown. Because of this, these all important pieces of documents are in danger of falling apart in some time, and naturally this is not what we want to happen. So the aim of this project is to try to find a chemical or chemicals that we can apply to these documents so we can stop them from falling apart.
Could you tell us how did you get to your results?
The first step in improvements came from reading previous scientific articles that researched similar topics. And because we want to test stabilization treatments on a certain pigment, we wanted to make samples of that pigment so we could test the stabilization treatments on those samples. And the first thing we saw is that the previous articles and the researchers did not apply the pigment evenly over their samples, meaning that the results could not be repeated, which is not good for any research, right? So we tried to figure out a way how to uniformly apply the pigment onto these samples so that all the samples would be the same, application even, and results repeatable.
And what we did then, we put these samples into a chamber. That's a climatic chamber with increased temperature and air humidity. And we did this we placed them in the chamber for 13 days. And meanwhile, we also did some tests. And so you see here on this matrix, in the end, what happened is that all of these samples, all of them, they look like this one in the beginning. So that's just pigment on paper, nothing else. And to every one of them, we placed on different chemicals or a combination of chemicals. And you see that these ones, they turn brown, like the colleague already mentioned is the problem with this pigment, with verdigris. But these four, they remained green. And that's because they had applied on them one type of chemical. That's a particular antioxidant that we use in our research. It's called tetrabutylammonium bromide. And we can now use these results of this research so that we can now use this antioxidant for the actual protection of cultural heritage.
We used the CERIC's Synchrotron located in Bazovica, Trieste, in Italy, because as we mentioned before, the verdigris degrades the paper that it's applied to. But as that happens, it is a green pigment, but it changes its color into a brown. And we thought, is that still the same compound? Because verdigris is in fact copper acetate. And here at Synchrotron we managed to find out that it actually changes the chemical composition into copper oxide, which in fact is poisonous. And that is a very important news that we can share with the people in the museums, archives and libraries that have to deal with this pigment on cultural heritage. That's a beautiful aspect of science, because as we answer questions, as more of it becomes clear, more and more questions appear, and so does this research actually goes on.
Now you are in Toulouse at ESOF 2018. Here you are taking part at the Science in the City Festival, and you have had the occasion to present your research to a lot of people of any age and nationality. Would you give us your feedback about this experience?
Yes, I think it's a great event for both sides, us as researchers and the people, for them to see that science is not interesting only to those that are working in science or have a certain education, but it can be also interesting for the wider public. And for us, especially because we had to explain this like a lot simpler and down to basics. And you can actually see that you really understand your work once you can make others that didn't work on this field understand it too.
And do you have any motto for your research?
Yes, of course. It's Verba volant scripta manet. This is in Latin, and it stands for that spoken words fly away, but written remain. And it's up to this research to really make sure that the written things will remain.